I am here with Dan Jurgens, famed artist, writer, Death of Superman. We just celebrated the 30th anniversary of the Death of Superman. What can you tell me a little bit about how that experience was and the creation of Doomsday?
Well, we haven't yet celebrated the 30th anniversary of Superman's death. That's coming up in November of this year. And we are going to celebrate it with an 80-page special that has the return of the original creative teams that did the story in the first place. So I'm writing and drawing the lead story with Brett Breeding on inks. We then have a story by Jerry Ordway and Tom Grummett, another story by Louise Simonson and John Bogdanov, and after that, a story by Roger Stern and Butch Geis. And those were the artists and writers, all of whom were working on the series back then.
I recall the story, as the story goes, that it was Jerry that said, "Why don't we just kill him?" Is that correct?
What had happened is that we had spent time discussing that as a possible story in a couple of earlier meetings. And going into this one, I said, we can really make this work. So I threw it out, had it in my notebook along with a little tiny doodle of what Doomsday would be. Although at that time, they weren't part of the same series or the same story. It was two different concepts. We had talked about it a bit, then later in the meeting, Jerry threw it out again, and this time we really started to focus on it and get it together.
And it had a lot to do with there was also a marriage story too, right? The marriage of Lois Lane because of the TV show that was going on at the time, right? Lois and Clark TV show, I think those.
Do that as a storyline, but we had to change that because yes, the TV series existed, and they wanted a little more synchronicity in all of that. And we weren't they weren't quite ready to get to that yet. So yes, we had to find another story to do. And fortunately, came up with the one we did.
In regards to the entire storyline, the Doomsday storyline, was the choice of panels. I remember it was that each book had almost was like a countdown between the panels. Like one book had a certain amount of panels, and then the other one had one less panel until the final book, which is 75, which was all literally splash, play, splash, play, splash. What was the idea behind that?
The reason to do that is so to control time on a comic book page. If you think of a movie where they can speed up action or have slow motion, whatever, the way we do that on a comic book page is if I add panels to the page, it takes you longer to read that. That slows the story down. If you have 4 panels a page, then you drop to 3 panels, then to 2, and then to 1, the pace of the story accelerates. And it's also almost like having the music build in a movie, and we wanted to make the story go by faster, for readers to experience faster, because that kind of raises the stakes and the level of tension. That's why we did it.
Dan, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
I'm here with Cody James, and he does pen art, right?
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, so that's one style. If you can see, I kind of showcase a variety of styles because I never really wanted to have one definitive style. So the ones up top are all done with ballpoint pen, and it's a series I kind of started before COVID, and the feedback was so overwhelming that I kept experimenting with it. And with the pandemic happening, that was plenty of time to keep trying new things, and it just kind of snowballed. So that's kind of why it's like this whole showcase of characters from video games, anime, superheroes, horror, and I just like how it kind of fits any genre. For such a simple tool, it can kind of do any character, whether it's realistic or cartoon. So
when you use your ballpoint pens, what kind of paper do you use? Do you use standard paper? Do you use like Bristol or something?
Yeah, I use Bristol. Exactly. Yeah, I use a Bristol because you need that heavy weight because you go over it so hard, you're almost digging through it, like you're kind of engraving in the paper, so it kind of has like a texture. So I actually have some of the originals over there, but yeah, that's kind of.
So what are some of the pieces that you like?
So the ones that I'm proud of are like the ones that are more like realistic because those take longer. Like I did like a Heath Ledger Joker, that one I'm really proud of. One of my favorite animes, Cowboy Bebop, I did like the full crew and they each have their own color, so it's kind of like a pop art look to it, which I'm really proud of. But really, I kind of like them all, Yeah, I don't want to give you that answer, but I do. I like them all.
All right. And lastly, how long is the process?
Yeah, so it varies in character. Something more realistic, it would take 5 to 6 hours, but like an anime maybe half. So it's the colors and detail that determine like.
But that's still a lot. That's pretty
Well,
quick.
it's dry media, so
Yeah.
you can work very quickly because that's all it is. It's this pen, so you don't have to wait for it to dry or anything. So yeah, that's, I would say roughly.
Thank you, Cody. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Okay, here I am with SkinWalker Studios. First of all, I gotta give it. This is probably the most setup I've seen, man.
Yeah, actually my brother got married under this arch.
Really?
Yeah, we did a Viking kind of like theme wedding and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, a really good friend of mine, Jason Rosen, who's the writer for both Monster Wood Book 1 and 2, which is what we're here to like sell. It's a completely indie-made novel here in Norwich.
Yeah.
There's some of his own like handmade creations. We have the fright lights, some night lights and stuff like that. But yeah, so we built this and the archway mainly just to showcase what Monster Wood would kind of look like had you been there in those woods.
Yeah, because this actually does have this really interesting feel. Dare I say, I'm thinking about, I don't know why, Day of the Dead. That's what I'm feeling here with the flags.
I give a lot of very, it does have a very kind of Day of the Dead, but I give it like a very, like, Tibetan ruin lost city kind of vibe to
Of
it.
course.
You know what I mean?
Like,
I think that drives home that general, like, almost like Aztec fantasy, very labyrinth-esque feel for the book and the artwork and stuff for it.
All right, so where can we find you?
You can find us on SkinWalker Studios on Instagram, Facebook, as well as Monsterwood on Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. Great talking.
Yeah, anytime.
All right.
Please.
Here we are with Tabby's Trinket, and let's talk a little bit about these bats. What's going on with these bats?
So these bats are all handmade. So we pretty much cut out the fabric, sew them by hand, and bring them out to conventions.
So what made you think about doing this? Like, this is something that you had to one day just say, what if I want to just do bats and then use cloth with different types of characters that people love?
That's pretty much what happened. So I originally made one for myself, and then he posted it to his Discord group, and suddenly 2 more people wanted it, and they were buying them from me, and I just turned to him and I'm like, I guess I'm going to become a plushie maker
And
now.
you're now an entrepreneur as a result, right?
And here I am.
What are some of the bats that you have? I see Care Bears.
Yeah.
What else we have out here?
So I tried to do a good mixture of pop culture and kind of not. So we have the Harry Potter Marauder map and Quidditch bats. We have some Hocus Pocus for Halloween season, Sailor Moon. We have some D&D ones throughout, Care Bears, Nightmare Before Christmas. So I just try and find fabrics that I like and vibe with.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. There you have it. Tabby's Trinkets. I'm here with Tom Ryan. Tom, talk to me a little bit about your work.
All right. Well, I'm a born geek, so I try to do like nostalgic prints. So I have prints pretty much from my childhood. So you got Thundercats, He-Man, Super Metroid, Back to the Future, comic books. And I also design lapel pins, art prints. I do some sketch covers, and I'm just now starting to offer some metal art prints as well.
Awesome. So how long have you been doing this for?
Oh my God, like 25 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. So I do the convention scene during the nice months, and on the side, I'm also a freelance designer where I design beer cans for a brewery down in Delaware, and then I also, do any type of logo work or anything else that people might need.
Yeah. So what is it that you love about doing these nostalgic pieces?
It makes me smile. So, and you can't tell I'm underneath the mask, I'm smiling.
You made me smile there for a second. I literally what I did.
So it's just like if I get a kick out of it, I figure there's got to be other people out there that are also going to get a kick out of it, and that's why I like doing the shows, because online, you can get likes and everything, but they're empty. But when you are able to actually connect with the person when you're in front of them, and you get to go like, really just geek out about some stupid stuff, then I think that's the best thing about, doing this.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Again, if you guys want to look up his stuff, there it is, Tom Ryan. You can find him on Instagram. I'm here with Esad Ribic, and we're going to take some time to talk a little bit about Thor and Gore the God Butcher. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about when the concept of the God Butcher came across and how you became part of the process.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, when we did our book, we needed to come up with formidable new villain for Thor. Since the concept of a character as it was written was, pretty much self-explanatory to me, I went for, black and white scheme, so like his thinking is black and white and he's black and white on the outside too. So that was the basic idea with that. We did him alien, because that allows us to have him first be a bit more mysterious. Second, he can just be monster. So that was the thing. I was kind of influenced by some other stuff that I've seen as a kid. There was this movie done in the 70s back home based on folklore. That devil can change into human, but one leg remains like a goat leg.
Yeah.
That's the one that he can't turn over. So I kind of use that for Gore. So that's why he has different legs, and because of that he would be limping, But none of that got used in the movies. So yeah.
And you got Christian Bale, so. You got Batman playing your character, so why not?
Well, no, I was pretty sure they wouldn't really go for the design that we did in the book. There's no point really. There's no need for it. So whether he's alien or not is really not important. What makes the character what it is pretty much his backstory, his behavior. That's most important stuff. So, the way he did it, he did a great job on it. So, I like that. I didn't like the design because it's
kind of different from what the original design.
Yeah, but the difference is not a problem. What the problem is like a black and white scheme, and in the movie it's like a white on white scheme, and it's what do you call those crusader tunic that he has. I think that's kind of stupid. I think
Yeah. Now, as far as the work you use, what kind of work do you use? I see, because you are a traditional painter, and when you do your work, the whole book, the sequential art is done in fully painted. So,
it depends.
Oh, it depends. Okay.
It depends on the books. Like regularly, it's pencils plus some Photoshop grayscales and textures. That way I can kind of make it look more like painted than like a regular comic art, but it's done fast enough for a monthly book. Because if I had time, I would just paint everything, But this thing is kind of good compromise because it still relies on values as opposed on black and white graphic.
And it's amazing looking at the work. Every time I see it, again, it comes across more so as a fully painted with paint, traditional paint, as opposed to digital painting. Nothing wrong with digital painting. Digital painting is fantastic, right? But it does still come across that way.
That was the idea behind it, really to make it look more like painterly. So I guess it succeeded.
It's doing the job, and great work, man. I love looking at your work. All right, here I am at Robert Barron's Inc. T-shirt and apparel with Sal, right? So talk to me a little bit about your T-shirt. What's the overall theme that you guys are doing?
It varies all over. I mean, pop culture, we got nerdy, we got some food-related stuff. We cover a big gamut of stuff. It's basically shirts for subjects we like to wear and what we want to wear, and if other people do, awesome. But it's essentially fandom we like. You'll see stuff from, you know, science fiction, movies, TV shows, all kinds of stuff, and it's all original designs, all hand-printed stuff. So
What's the popular item of the con right now?
well, it's got to be the Munson shirt.
Munson shirt?
Master
it's
of
actually right here.
Dungeons. Yeah.
Master of Dungeon, Munson Stranger Things.
That one, I mean, that's been the thing this year, but the Star Wars stuff is always very popular. We got the It's Elaborate Ruse is very popular.
Yeah, my personal favorite, obviously Munson, but the one right next to support your local comic book shop.
Yeah,
Because we need to do that.
that's one that's very important to us, you know, just as like, because that's what it's all about, supporting local, and we're like a big, you know, local support company, and we're giving a portion of the proceeds of that goes to the Comic Book United Fund, which helps stores, you know, whether it's paying rent or various expenses. We started doing that at the pandemic just to help and, you know, do a little something.
That means I'm sold.
Okay.
I'm sold, so I'm going to get me. Support your local comic book shop, guys. See you next time on IzzyVerse.